So you cut your teeth on console and tape, right? What did they do to the sound working in that paradigm that makes your life easier or makes the music sound more the way you want it to sound?
Well, because of the advent of Pro Tools, now, like, console and tape to me is like you're putting your hands on the music. When you're changing the reels, when you're grabbing faders, grabbing EQs, you have a very personal connection to what's going on, to the music, to the sound you're getting, and it's a feel thing. And it's not like clicking a mouse. Like, clicking on a mouse is just the most generic, unsensitive, just robotic way of mixing. I mean, even if grabbing a knob on a controller is closer, but it's still just the feeling to me of grabbing a knob on a console with electricity flowing through it just makes it so much more fun. And it feels fun, and you know that you're turning that knob and it's doing something very specific inside that console and affecting the sound in a certain way. And it will always do the same exact thing. You know, when you grab that mid-range frequency control, it's always going to do the same thing, as opposed to your 4 knobs spread on your little control thing that could be any 4 knobs in the world.
Right.
And so the interaction of it mentally is what I like the best about it. And cutting tape, committing to an edit, being able to really listen and not look at a picture as to remind you of what you're actually doing is just, I feel like coming from Pro Tools is so refreshing to not be staring at a computer screen all day and to be using your ears and to have to memorize the song and know exactly where every single note that's played on every single instrument is. Because if you're going to go and punch in on a guitar, you got to know exactly what he's playing. You can't just punch in and say, "Oh, I'll fix it later," And whereas if you're punching on Pro Tools, you can look at it and be like, "Oh, I can punch in there and then fix it later," or whatever. So it just becomes a more mental and emotional reaction to me with the console and the tape. I made some notes, but I'm looking at my BlackBerry for notes. And the other thing that's really important, I just touched on this a second for editing, but track-wise, I mean, you only have 24, 48, 16, 8 tracks, whatever machine you're on, and to have to commit to that format and that limitation is also like, I mean, it's an emotional thing. Like, it's like either you have the part or you don't. If you don't have it, you do it again. If you have it, move on. But in Pro Tools, you can just keep stuff and comp stuff, and 10 years later, when you go to actually mix your record, you can then go through like, oh well, maybe I have a better guitar part, and then you start the process all over again. And to me, there's no point in that. I mean, I don't think that records should be made as a documentarian experience. It should be an emotional thing, but you need to know when it's good, when you're there. You gotta have a line, and once the part is above that line, it's done.
I do know.